Hi, it's Rob Moore here from Progressive Property Network, and the extended mind map you've just seen over these two walls was actually the growth of progressive property accidentally, with doors opening, doors opening, doors opening, doors, that all started from this chance meeting 1 week after December the 15th, 2005, when I was minus £50,000 in credit card debt, car loan debt, and not even in property, and in really quite a low place. And in this video, I'm going to show you how you can do exactly the same thing. Build your extended network, your JV alliance, your own event, all from maybe a chance meeting with us watching this video now. So now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take you back to the place that this chance meeting happened right at the end of December 2005. So follow me. So we're just on our way now to that very first point, the last week in December 2005, where the Progressive started, the embryo, if you like, of Progressive. In fact, it was pre-embryo because I didn't have any properties. I was massively in debt as an artist. Mark actually was living a parallel universe. I'd not met him yet. And that was the meeting with him where it happened. I'm just pulling up now is where it all started, and the 8-figure business growth that Progressive has had. We never even planned that. We never dreamed of it. We never dreamed of writing 5 best-selling property books and raising 30-odd million pounds worth of JVs and buying hundreds of properties. And as I'm pulling in right now, thinking about it, it's like one of those pinch yourself moments, because I remember the first time I pulled into the Holiday Inn in Peterborough. In fact, I probably rode here on my bike because I definitely didn't have a car at the time. Going to a really quiet, dingy property networking event thinking, is this for me? And I'm skiing, and can I do this? And all the events that run Progressive run hundreds of events now. I've done 700 odd talks at events, and it all started here. And maybe for you, it starts here, and we would love to JV with you and help you build your own network, and you can follow the systems that we've used. So I'll show you exactly where that meeting happened and then how it all grew from there. So we're here outside the Holiday Inn in Peterborough. I remember walking through that door. In fact, I didn't want to go in because I didn't want some of the bad memories to come back. Going through that door, there was a quiet, dingy networking event, probably only 9 or 10 people there. And I had all those thoughts: what am I doing here? It's not the right place for me. I just want to get out, but I kind of didn't want to upset the speaker at the time, who was trying his best standing in front of the slides. So afterwards, after the event, I walked through and I almost came out the door, but I turned right and went into the bar, and there were just a few people there, and I recognised a couple, and I went there really naively. There's a business card, there's a business card, there's a business card, they must have thought. And I sat at the bar, and I turned to this guy who was sat at the bar and said, do you want a drink? And he looked at me really not very happy, quite grumpy guy, to be honest. No, Diet Coke. And I extended my hand to shake his hand, and he introduced himself as Mark Homer. And I'm kind of glad I didn't know at the time that he would be the whole portal for me to everything that Progressive and our other 5 or 6 companies has become, but he was. And so I'm going to take you back in a minute to the extended mind map. And if you've thought about running your own event but didn't know how, if you'd like to raise JV finance from people coming to you instead of you having to go and try and carpet bomb everyone, if you want to be perceived as an expert in your niche, if you want to build your brand as one of the top people in property, if you want to be out deals to come to you instead of you having to run around all the estate agents, then running your own networking event where this all started, I think that's something that you're going to love to do. And I'm going to show you now back on the whiteboard how it all grows for you, how you can do the same, and how you can copy our systems to achieve the same results. So let's go back. So now you know how it all started, and let's look at where it ended up and where it all went. So this here is Mark, the my first JV partner, if you like. And of course, at the time, I didn't know he was going to be a JV partner, but he ended up being. So people often ask me, how did I go from minus £50,000 in debt to every deal of 400 odd being no money down? Well, that's how it happened. Now, let's look at where it springs off. So I've got a kind of little color code system here. We've got black for businesses and blue for people. So I met Mark, and then we actually went and got a job at a property company called Acorn in 2006. Now that was our like hardcore education. I mean, imagine if you were an estate agent for 2 or 3 years, you'd know a lot about sourcing properties, and so that was our hardcore education. From there, Mark and I started building our portfolio. Now, we learned on the job, as it were. I started working there for free. Mark had been working there for a while. But on the side, we were building our own portfolio. Now, this portfolio started with a handful of properties, but actually it's grown quite significantly. So we've got single lets here, and I'd say we've probably got all or part share in, it's got to be about 350, something like that. And remember, this all started here. Mark already had experience, so I'll finish this all off in a moment. But Mark had friends, wealthy people that he already knew, and they knew a lot of people. So I have to keep some names kind of confidential because the JV partnerships are more private, but of course where I can name a name I will. And you're looking at $500 million through this person. Now, it wasn't exactly this person, but through this person, there's a JV partner who worth roughly 500 million, something like that. And again, fast forward back to here, but I had no idea of all of this. These were just doors that just opened themselves. So let's go back to remember that the black is the businesses. So the portfolio then went into HMOs. Now the HMOs are much larger on the income, and at a guess, maybe we've got 15 of those much bigger units with bigger lumps of cash flow. But it also went up to commercial. And actually, the building you're in with me now is a building that Mark and I own. We run trainings here. I've got 72 people upstairs at the moment doing vendor conversion intensive, and we can fit about 200 people in this training suite we're in. We're in the recording studio part of it. So commercial properties is, again, it's rough numbers. Of course, they're much bigger, but maybe about 10 units. This one's 6,000 square foot. We bought our office. So this ended up being the offices of Progressive that we bought commercially, and also the training suite. So we call that the academy. Now, the academy and the office, green. We'll do green for income. So this is obviously tens of thousands a month in income. The HMOs are, again, tens of thousands in income. This is split, sometimes a half, sometimes between 3. Now the academy brings in at least 2 million a year for Progressive, but also Rob and Mark get an income from it because we own it. And so Progressive leases it from Rob and Mark. The same with the office. The office produces an income for Rob and Mark. And between these two here, it's roughly about 6K a month that we split, divided by 2. And this all started working for someone else in in 2006. So we were doing, so this portfolio is 2006 to today. And the single lets 2006 to today. The HMOs 2009 to now. Commercial, yeah, probably 2010/11 to now. Okay, now, through commercial property investing, we met a chap called Neville Wright. How did we meet him? Because he owns an office just there. And we'd never have met him. We knew him. He's a big celebrity in Peterborough, an amazing guy. And it'd take me 8 seconds to walk to his office. Now he's worth 120 million, big celebrity in Peterborough because he owned Kiddie Care, which is a massive, probably the biggest business that started in Peterborough. And he is now a JV partner with Rob and Mark and Progressive Property, multiple JVs with him. In fact, he's listened to every one of my CDs, Buy to Let Boom, the joint venture CDs in his car. He's messaging me from on holiday at the moment, and he's become a really, really good friend of ours. Okay, so quite interesting how that goes. So let's go back over here then. So Mark had already some school friends, or the parents of school friends who were worth significant amounts of money. So Mark was already well heeled in his JV career. So through running our portfolio, we were then able to build portfolios for other people too, because we're doing it ourselves. People were really interested in what we were doing. So then PPB was born, which is Progressive Portfolio Builder. And actually it was the first progressive company, and that company's been running now, what, 9 years? It's the longest standing portfolio building company in the UK, and that's a £1 million plus business. And that kicked off from our own portfolio. We were building portfolios for other people, and the recession came, and is that going to be possible? It was a bit of a challenge. So that spurned Progressive Property, which is training, education, and that's a multi-million pound company. It's the biggest company we have, and that's many millions a year, and of course something that many people across the country have benefited from. Now, from this here at Progressive, the next bit, could it be you? We'll come back to that, because you could be part of this expanded, extended network. So Progressive Property becomes quite well known for building portfolios. And so James Kahn, Lord Sugar, Bob Geldof, Andreas Panayotou, AP for short. Now Andreas Panayotou, 500 million. James Kahn, 200 million. Lord Sugar, 800 million. Now some of these people I'm writing have become friends, some of them we've JV'd with, and some of them have just been guests at our events. Hey, you may have been to one of the Progressive Property Super Conferences. We had Frank Bruno being one of our keynote speakers. We had Karen Brady. And because of all of these connections and associations with us at Progressive Property, a chap called Dave Ravenscroft came to one of our events. I'll call him Dave Ravers, because that's what his friends call him, and it's easier. Now, I don't know exactly, I'm pretty sure it's more than 10 million. Now, Dave Ravenscroft just came as an attendee at one of our events and then said he wanted a one-to-one training with Mark and I. So therefore, we now have a new experience born. And I'll talk to you about that in one moment. So we never would have found someone like Dave who's become a JV partner, and actually now, this will be in black. So now we JV with Dave Ravenscroft. We're buying a big commercial unit with him as we speak right now. So you can see how it all kind of grows out. What else through Progressive? So quite a lot more JVs have happened. So we've got this person has lent us money to buy commercial buildings. This person, in fact, from Mark, you've got this person, which is Mark's stepdad. You've got this person and me. There's just one, and that is my mum. So you can see how it all spins off. Okay, this company here, we met a chap called DG, sold his technology company in the year 2000 for $1 billion US. Now, we haven't managed to prize that exact amount of money from this person. He's become a good friend, of course, potential JV partner there, just through, but actually he was a client of ours. Okay, so back to the Cayman legacy over here. Now, this is a mentorship that myself, Mark, and Dave Ravenscroft run from the Cayman Islands, and once a year we have a month's holiday over there, and 5 to 10 of our good clients who want to take their business to the next level fly out and are part of that experience. Now, that costs them about £20,000 each, and John Zebatowski, who we met at the Cayman Islands, so I'll call him John SZ for obvious reasons, now JV with myself and Mark on quite a few big developments. John SZ, RMNH. Now, John was a delegate of the Cayman Legacy. The Cayman Legacy was created because Dave Ravenscroft paid Mark and I about £15,000 each for 2 days training, mentoring him, and he flew us out to the Cayman Islands because he didn't want it in the UK. Since then, Dave has JV'd with quite a few people in the progressive community. So you've got Rick Champion, he's JV'd with him. They have quite a few properties together in Blackpool. You've got Steve and Debbie Pratt, who are now JVing with Dave from coming to the Cayman Islands. And they've got quite a few properties already. So between them, you're in double-digit properties. Let's call it 20, it's probably more. John Zebatowski, how little we knew. I've probably lost the colour coding here, but hey. So John Zebatowski here was worth 40 million pre-crunch. Little did we know. I had no idea I'd be meeting him when there was me here. So this is all pretty exciting, and this all started from the first day. Now, John Zebatowski's son is Alex Zebatowski, and his fiance, I believe, or if not Alex, hurry up, and partner Kat. Their specialist is rent to rent. So what we've done at Progressive is we've JV'd, how are we going to do this? We've JV'd with those, so now there's going to be a rent-to-rent course, JV'd with Progressive, PP and Alex and Kat. Same thing happened, Peter Vanashevsky, random chap, came to Progressive Property event, and from there was a JV on Be Your Own Bank, the CD program that surely half the property industry have listened to. Then there's Tasha and Karen, JV with Tasha and Karen on a new flip course because they came to a Progressive event. Then Progressive formed PPN, which now has, 20 plus networking events across the UK. And that was born because Jamie Medill came to a Progressive property event over here, and we JV'd with him on that, and that's another business which is it's not quite £1 million business yet, so we'll call it, definitely a 6-figure. It will get there in the end. Now, over here, when we'd built up a big enough portfolio, we finally, and we were probably a bit slow on this, we finally set up a letting agency. So PP Lets. We JV'd with Wayne Beecham, who we met from sourcing our own properties because he was a lettings manager for 2 big letting agencies but didn't have a share in the business. Now that company at the moment is probably about 15k a month net profit, but it's quite young. It only has 310 properties, most of ours, and that'll grow to 500-600 plus. And if I could predict in the future, I'll do this in blue because this hasn't happened yet, this bit, but we'll probably have a lettings franchise. And that, I guess, at some point in the future will be £1 million business. So, hey, who knows what's going to happen in the future. Now, through many of our best contacts here, what's happened is it's elevated the brand of Progressive. So through Dave Ravenscroft, through Karen, through James Kahn, through Bob, Progressive has now become the UK's largest in terms of number of people officially, and also turnover property education company in the UK. And what's helped that is the books we've written. I'm just going to use green here because it's different. So I suppose a culmination of all this has created I'll have to come over here. So the books, there's 5 of them, and 4 are #1 bestsellers. I won't put BS because that's something else. Bestsellers. Now from that, we've had quite a lot of inquiries from TV and media. And between Mark and I, we've probably done about 8 or 9 TV shows. Mark's quite regularly on the BBC and the ITV, Financial Times, Wall Street Journal. We probably have, I would say, every 3 to 4 weeks, contact from media, researching pilot shows. We've probably done 10 pilot shows that actually didn't get on telly. Maybe some of those will. Whew, I'm hot and sweaty here. So I could go on and on and on and on and on. Now this here could be you. This could be you. And this here could be us, Progressive. And we could be your window, your portal, you could leverage us. So to find out a little bit more about if this could be you, and specifically regarding the PPN franchise over here, I'd like to take you down Cowgate, which is one of in fact, street in Peterborough where all the estate agents and some of the letting agents are. Because I think I've got something quite profound to tell you. And it's kind of connected to our first office, our portfolio, and Progressive Property Network, and you. So let's go. So I wanted to bring you down to Estate Agents Row in Peterborough, where most of the estate agents are. We actually set up our very first office above Estate Agents Row, and on this street I'm about to show you, we must have bought 150 properties from the estate agents on this street. But this isn't exactly the reason why I'm showing you this street, but there's something really quite profound about some of the franchises and non-franchises and little boutique businesses that individuals set up on this street that I really wanted to show you. So we're in Cowgate in Peterborough, which is pretty much Estate Agents Row, where I'd say 70% of the estate agents for Greater Peterborough, they're here. There you can see there's lettings and a property management one there. There's Your Move here. Your Move is a franchise, it's a national estate agent. And that's one of the reasons why I want to take you down the street and show you the difference between the franchises and the nationals and then the local boutique independent shops and estate agents. Because the local ones, they have all the risk. They set up, they put big overhead that they're not used to. In fact, the one just behind you, this is a local one that's changed hands 2 or 3 times. They've had to let out the upstairs to a different company, as you can see. He's a good friend of mine. And you know, they don't have the nationwide systems and the finance behind them to be able to ride through the difficult times. This is a kind of a one-man band. And then if we move down, you can see some of the estate agents that are the more franchise ones, like Hart. Hart's a national franchise, and that's been there. It's very established. They're the same throughout the UK. The team are well trained. They use content management systems and you know, 20, 30, sometimes 50 years of experience, and has gone into building a franchise like this. And then what you find with franchises, as I'm sure you'll know, is people buy into those systems and then they're able to just follow a proven path and a process. That's one of the reasons why I'd like to JV with you, so I can help you build your own networking event with a system, a franchise. We've run hundreds of events. But I also have a couple of reasons for doing that. I have a few ulterior motives I'd like to share with you too. So here's another one. This is Connell's, and this is another franchise, and it's been here as long as I've lived in Peterborough, like more than 10 years. This one here, if you just look, Brompton Pie Company, obviously it's not an estate agent, that's a one-man band shop, and that's changed hands 3, maybe 4 times in the last 3 or 4 years. So whoever owned them before that, obviously probably maybe went bust and struggled, and because it's hidden and the branding isn't maybe right. And if you carry on down here, we have Subway. You can probably see Subway up there. Now Subway, one of the most popular and successful franchises you have, and you go in there, you get the same sandwich all the time, it's set up the same, the staff are trained the same, you get the same experience. And so the person who's buying into that franchise has got that security and comfort that as long as they follow those systems, then there's national advertising, that there's the help and the support that you need when you're not sure what you're doing. And how many times have you ever seen a Subway fail? I don't think I've ever seen a Subway fail. Incidentally, the Progressive Property Network franchises are not even 1/5 of the cost of franchises like these, but actually could probably make you more money. If we look over there though, in fact, I think we're clear if you just walk with me. This used to be a little boutique chocolate shop. It also used to be a girl who set up with bracelets and jewellery here, and it's been empty and empty and empty because it's just really difficult to run your own business as a startup when you've not done it before. The big overheads you have to take, the 5 or 10 year leases that you have, all the stock that you have to buy, and you don't know about marketing and sales and all that kind of stuff. And unfortunately, this is quite a common sight. And actually, if you look down the street there, these 2-3 units here, they come, they go, they come, they go. And you know, they're really nice, lovely, passionate people who run them. I remember when this was a little chocolate shop, and I kept going in and buying all little boutique chocolates because I really wanted them to succeed, but they're a chocolatier, they're not a business person. They don't understand about all that kind of business. And because I know this place really well, because if you look up all the way across there, they were actually our first offices that we rented before, after we moved out of our very first house, when we were kind of set up on our kitchen table. And so I just wanted to show you the difference between, you all right? The difference between running a national franchise with decades of experience and systems and processes, and then your own passion and hobby and your heart and your soul, and the risk. And I believe 90% of franchises succeed and 90% of businesses that are set up that aren't franchises fail. So come back with me, I'll fill in the rest of the mind map and I'll show you that last bit that I said that we need to fill in, and how you could become part of this extended network and do the same thing for yourself. So while we were on Calgate, I said that there's a few reasons why I'm looking to JV with you, essentially, as you watch this video. Now, there's obvious benefits to you of being part of a progressive franchising system, the 10 years we've been in the business, the hundreds of events we've run, the many millions that's generated. One of the reasons I would like to work with you is because I can't be all over the country every day flying the progressive flag, but maybe you can. Now, we have about 20 progressive property networks already around the UK that are implementing the progressive systems and running their own events. Some of them now getting towards 100 people a month at their own event. And so, a bit like the estate agents and Subway, you can jump on and leverage all of our systems, our experience, our network, our JV partners, our contacts, and I get to grow the progressive brand and community without it being all of my time. And of course, one of my ways to give back to more people all across the UK is to have progressive networking events running all across the UK, so we can help inspire people to, create a better life for themselves, help other people raise more JV finance. These networking events become a real hub to meet people and raise JV finance. So I'm quite prepared to give you a pretty amazing deal that aren't anywhere near what normal franchise fees are, because it's more of a joint venture between you and between us at Progressive. So if we go back in, we're here at the office now, if we go back in and fill in the missing part of that mind map, and let's look at maybe working together on building a really strong joint venture between you and Progressive, help you earn a lot of money just running one networking event, just one evening a month, and getting the Progressive brand and the message of financial freedom and getting into property in this amazing time out to many more people and get there helping more people. So in a moment, we'll see if we can put you here, because this you here could be a JV with us on building your own property networking event and your own extended network. This hasn't quite finished, actually. You have here a car collection, which of course is one of the spin-offs, and that actually comes from the portfolio. You have your holidays, because we shouldn't forget to put the fun stuff in, so you have all your holidays. Actually, from here, I got offered to buy a company which called Unlimited Success. It was a rescue operation. That's now a 6 to 7 figure business, that one. And very importantly, charity. So there's been, let's go down here, probably about 250,000 that we've been able to give away to charity, cancer research, Sue Ryder, because this isn't just all for business. This is of course for your legacy and everything you want for your life. So let's go back here now to you, and you here is your event, your Progressive Property Network event. Progressive would love to be this for you. If you'd like to leverage everything you've seen here so that you could build your own brand, you could raise millions of pounds of JV finance, or just a little bit less. If you love the idea of sharing and giving, if you want to be perceived as an expert in your industry, to be able to piggyback off those that already exist, if you're serious about building another business at the much lower cost than a normal franchise and only on actually one evening a month, but you're interested in bringing in a 5 to 6 figure income from one evening a month, if you feel like you have more to give and you feel like you know something and that you want to share, if you'd like to become a perceived expert in your local area, because all this happened in Peterborough, of course, except Cayman, but I'd love to partner with you because in your area, if the PPN hasn't already been taken up, you're an expert already, or at least you can become that. So estate agents and letting agents and local lawyers, and they'll be coming to your event and you'll be positioned as the expert. So if there's anything on this page to fill in or just to contact us, there might be an application form, there might be a Progressive Property Network evening or lunch or day to come to, there may just be an email or phone number. Get in touch, let's see how we can build this for you.